here's the first question I want to talk about today is HELOC versus home equity loan. Which one makes more sense?
Well, yeah, and it's a terrific question. And of course, that's why we're going to dive pretty deep into this because, these acronyms, particularly the HELOC one, HELOAN is, I think, less recognized or not used as much. But, when you hear these from the standard, homeowner or consumer, you're really starting off a little confused just because of the terminology involved. And especially when you get into acronyms, I think HELOCs have become fairly well known, but despite that, I think there's a lot about them still folks don't really have a grasp on it. So then it becomes even more confusing when they start hearing HELOAN. So then, of course, that even puts in another layer of, well, now we've got a similar sounding but different product, but we're not sure why. So that's why we want to help folks discern the differences so that you're really making the right choice for your situation.
Sounds good. It is, I think it's one of those things that and this is probably true across almost every industry, is someone like yourself who's been doing it for as long as you have, you work in this terminology every day. And
Right.
For the average homeowner, I mean, especially if you're a new homeowner, how many years in between, making these kind of decisions do you typically see? I mean, it's many years, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. Sure. Many, many years. Yes.
Yeah. So it's, and we're talking about, obviously home equity loans. So somebody has owned a home, but, like my wife and I, we've lived in the same home for over 20 years and we may not even know these terms exist, right?
Exactly right. And for example, real quick, just since we have the two acronyms up here on this particular page, let me help everyone just to understand the kind of the logic about these acronyms. HE, that's home equity, right? HE is home equity. So HELOC, home equity line of credit. HE loan, home equity loan. It's not a line of credit because it's not reusable. It's a loan. So that's the simple way to distinguish at the most general level HELOC versus a HELOAN. And by the way, in our parentheses, we say often called a HELOAN or second mortgage. One additional point of clarification for everyone, and I get this from time to time, and I find it kind of humorous. Understand that whether we're talking a HELOC or a HELOAN, they are a second mortgage. Because sometimes I'll get an inquiry from a homeowner and they want to ask me about a HELOC. And I'll make reference to the fact that I'll refer to it as a second mortgage. And then they'll stop me and say, oh, no, I don't want a second mortgage. I want a HELOC. So I have to explain to the person inquiring that a HELOC is a second mortgage. So either product and any equity loan is going to be a second or more technically defined junior mortgage lien on your property.